Yep, here we go. This is our Group 1, 3, 4, and 5B feature race 2 as away they go here at the beautiful Weathertech Laguna Raceway. And right away, the number 21 straight into the lead. And that's a nice start by the Lotus.
Yes, Kira Ramleth, the defending Bell Helmet champion, and he and Travis Engen usually have the best battles out there in Group 5B. Engen has won the sprint championship 9 years in a row. Last year he did not win it, but Ramleth and him are very familiar with one another and race each other in Lotus 23Bs all the time.
Nice move up the inside of 3 by the number 15 of Mike Zupklo.
There's a Porsche engine in that Elva Mark 7S. They have a Porsche engine in there, and that was the Elva Mark 7, a further development of the Mark 5. But Zupko has been very fast. Engen usually gets right up with Ramleth right straight away, but Zupko yesterday and in that first feature race, he was hanging right there with Kira Ramleth. Ben, those cars are really close together. They're doing a good race there.
Yeah, we saw Travis Engen get squeezed by Mike Zupko going into Optima Batteries turn 2, but Travis and Mike, they knew each other were there. Some great racing as they come through the corkscrew. Look at the views here as Travis Engen's beautiful Lotus comes through. There goes Greg Meyer in that Sadler Mark IV. There's that Ferrari. Look at the cars in this. This is why I love this group. Just such a great diversity. If you are kind of upset with modern motorsports where all the cars look the same, you can't have that here.
No, there ain't no way.
I counted, we've got 21 different manufacturers and marks in a group of 38 cars. You don't see that in modern racing.
And as was the wont back in the late 60s, mostly European, but obviously a few kind of variations on the theme. But yeah, Porsche, obviously a lot of British manufacturers, German and Italian, but the odd Genie in there as well.
Kira Ramleth is a very good driver. I don't think I'm used to seeing him in a Lotus 23, so let's see how he does here. He's driven a lot of open wheels with us, but this is a little bit different. So let's see this no downforce momentum car, how he does against Travis Engen, who is a seasoned veteran in the Lotus 23B.
That Sadler that is, I believe, in 4th place at the moment, that has a Latham supercharged Chevrolet V8 engine in it. And it was designed by Bill Sadler. That's where the name comes from, Sadler Mark IV. Ramleth is a very good driver. He's pretty used to these Lotus 23Bs. And again, he and Engen are very familiar with against one another at Road Atlanta, VIR, and always at the Circuit of the Americas.
I love the rear, the little vents there in the back of the cars.
That car debuted in 1962 at the Nürburgring, and Jim Clark was driving it. Skull and Chapman designed, and it was designed for the FIA FIA Group 4 championship, and it was very successful over there.
You can imagine that would be one hell of a ride around the Nordschleife.
Oh yeah, in that little car where you're what, just a couple inches off the ground, it seems like.
Yeah, in a carousel and going through some of those long turns. Ooh,
and those cars there at the front of the field are from the 60s. That Morgan that went by that you were talking about, Ben, at the start of the program, that dates back to the 1930s. At least the company does.
Yeah, still running wood frame chassis for the bodywork there. But there's the 15. Mike Zupko in a 1963 Elva. These 3 cars, even though it's 2 Lotuses and an Elva, are very equally yoked. Elva basically made that car to compete against the Lotus 23Bs. Really fun to drive. I love when you can see the driver's hands working in there. Okay, looks like they're coming up on lap traffic right now of a Porsche 356. Safely around. I do see a yellow flag at that corner. Not sure. Oh, there's a car off there between 4 and 5.
Yeah, just stationary and offline, so that's good news. But
yeah,
it's going to be a while to get to him if he is.
If he would have been able to go just 200 yards more, there was an escape route there. But we're looking right now at Kira Ramleth followed by Mike Zupko. So Travis Engen taking a position from Mike Zupko. Oh, that's I misspoke. That's an MGA, not a Porsche 356. MGA Coupe. Beautiful car there.
That is lovely.
I believe that's the twin cam, if I'm not mistaken, Ben, and that has a
yeah. There's the badge, the twin cam badge right over the vent.
Yeah, it's a 1588cc engine, has a twin overhead cam, and it was a further development of the MGA. Not very many of those were made, if I remember, something around like 2,000 were made of those. And that's one of those out on track being raced. Jonathan, another irreplaceable, unique car out there.
Oh, no question about it. Well, they all are really, but yeah, I mean, we are watching history of racing and motor cars, and especially with these production cars, because you really do see, as we've got a truck on track to try to clear up that mess between 4 and 5.
But we're still racing. The white flag is out. Just a double yellow has not come out yet, which is great, so we're going to be able to keep racing. And that is because that driver was able to pull over in a safe position, highly visible. I'm sure they'll still throw a flag at turn 3, but they'll be back to racing at turn 4, which is just unbelievable. Thank you so much, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Look at this number 84 going through. It's like another piece of art.
Ben, you and I talked at Road Atlanta. You know, my favorite car is the MG Midget because I drove that, but Triumph Spitfires are out here, and one of those drivers is Thomas Turner. He won both the races last year, and I believe he won yesterday for G Production, but that is a car that's named after the RAF fighter plane, the Spitfire.
Absolutely.
You would know more about that there.
I used to go to
Jonathan?
school in a yellow Spitfire. My mum had one. Yes, I know all about the Spitfire.
Okay, so
engine as well.
as we go through here now, they're going to throw a white flag. The tow trucks are coming through the corkscrew. Here's that Spitfire.
Yep. Know it well. Beautiful car. Very low to the ground. You can literally step out of it.
The Triumph Spitfires and the MG Midgets ruled F production, but that Turner 950S that you were talking about, Ben, a friend of mine that raced them back in the day, Jim Creighton, and his wife Tony Creighton, both of those raced Turners, and Turner was very fast in F production. Whenever it showed up, it gave the MGs and Triumphs quite a bit of trouble there.
Look at that Ferrari, that 15A of Robert Davis coming up. What a great shot we're getting there as they come up through the sunlight. 3 red cars, 3 totally different cars coming up into the Big Machine Vodka spiked coolers corkscrew. Look at this Ferrari roll through there. Look at the body roll of these cars. How cool is that?
That is a unique sight, isn't it? And a couple of Datsuns, a couple of Japanese manufacturers out there, and nice to see. Mixing it with the European manufacturers.
That Datsun 2000, actually, that was called a Fair Lady in Japan when it was sold. But when they imported it to the United States, they didn't think that name would go over too well, so they went to a 2000 Datsun Roadster. That was very prominent in D production, both that and the 1600 Roadster.
So Kevin Ayers looking to make a pass here. And then that's the, I believe that's Michael Sweeney in that Datsun factory lightweight.
What does that mean? Factory lightweight roads?
I'm not sure. Maybe that was made to be a factory race car.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
When the Datsuns came over, they weren't supposed to be over here to begin with. We talked about that yesterday, Jonathan, but they had a couple of cars that were somehow secretly sent over and showed up at the first SCCA National out at, I believe it was Riverside at the time, and they were supposedly lighter than the regular Datsun 1600s. They were specially made for the SCCA club racing because they wanted to sell those cars, and they wanted those cars to be up front.
I'll tell you how. Rumor is there was a Navy admiral that loved racing, so when he would be over there, he'd just put a few on the aircraft carriers for his buddies and bring it over. I'm not going to name his name, but it was the U.S. military that was actually breaking the law by importing cars they shouldn't have. And we thank them for that.
They were surprised at Tech, and everybody else was surprised because they knew about the Datsuns, but they didn't know they were here in the U.S., and all of a sudden they just magically appeared.
Yeah. And then when people would ask them, how'd you get that?
I don't know.
The wily Japanese, huh? I love it. Beautiful shot of the corkscrew, the hill that stands over this beautiful Laguna circuit.
Just look at that shot right there. The cars are so different. The silhouettes, the lines of these cars. This is what makes vintage racing so fantastic. And then that just timeless lines of that Porsche 356 that even the most modern Porsches still carry those lines. That's Mark Francis in that Elva Mark 7S. Beautiful livery on that with the yellow accents showing the body lines. And in driver's hands in a car, I just love it.
Jonathan, cars even though with the weather not that great in England, they were most of them were, at least the very fast cars were convertibles.
Yeah, and it's an ironic thing, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
I just visualize Jim Clark going around the Nordschleife in the fog and the rain. I mean, because there's no way you can go to the Nürburgring without it raining. So I don't know how they managed, because there was no full-face helmets back then.
Right.
So it's goggles or nothing.
And you know how much the spray is these days. If you've ever watched any of the races on TV, you see all that spray come up on them. You can just imagine trying to see through that and fog it at best.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, we have this deep belief that when the sun is actually out, then it's kind of warm. We go into shorts, you know, we take our t-shirts on, and even though it's probably only about, I don't know, plus 10, or we go in this, which is the perfect mini. I love this. I had a close look at this yesterday up close, and it's beautifully prepared. So beautifully prepared. Obviously the Gulf colors as well, but I just love that. It's just compact, and it doesn't look like a race car, but boy, in its day, both on the track and in rally, fantastic.
I've owned many Coopers and Mini Cooper S's, and the thing about them, all my friends, because I'm 6'3", 250 pounds, all of my friends think I'm crazy, but I'm like, no. It is the most fun car to drive without having to break the law. I've had a Mustang GT, and it was a fun car to drive, but I felt like to have fun in it, I had to break the law. I could go the speed limit in a Mini Cooper and still take twisty turns and have just an absolute blast.
And the thing is, it's a bit of a myth. It is a tiny car, but you're right, a 6'3" man can get in that quite easily.
4 of us. 4 people like me could get in. When I used to be in a rock band, we carried a Mini Cooper in a trailer, a 64, and all 4 of us, all my size, could go to the movies in that. People thought we were clowns getting out of it, but, you know, it was an easy way to get around. Look at that Triumph Spitfire.
I bet you get some good roll on with 4 of you in there.
Yeah, you can go downhill faster.
Hey, you're talking about the rally. They won the Monte Carlo Rally for 3 years in that Mini Cooper, and yeah, we were talking yesterday. Ben, usually when they go around the turns, they're really driving hard. That inside, I believe it's the left rear wheel, just picks up there and then gets back down on the ground.
Yeah, here I have video. I put a camera under Don Racine's Mini, and it lifts a foot off the ground coming through the corkscrew. Oh, there goes Travis Engen making the pass. So the front group is spread out just a little bit. But that's Travis Engen there, currently in 2nd place in that beautiful Lotus 23B. Look at that. There's that fair lady, lightweight, 127. Looks like he normally runs a 27 and put the piece of duct tape. And man, that twin can coupe. I got to give it up for him for bringing that out. That is Steve Kupferman. To bring out a twin cam, like I love MGAs, but then a twin cam is like the exotic MGA, you know, and those engines are hard to keep running. So we really appreciate that, and the rarity of them too.
As well as Porsches, I believe, on the screen now, the 911.
Yeah, that's the 966 of Patrick Paterni. Porsche 912, so that means it's before the 911, same body, but just a 356 engine.
Straight lining it.
Run through there. And it really is like we were talking, it would be the same almost angle as a staircase.
Yeah.
The first 20 feet of the drop of that corkscrew. It'd be like just in the Italian Job when the Minis come down the stairs there.
Yeah.
It'd be about the same drop.
Well, it's 5 stories from the top of the corkscrew to the bottom, and then 10 stories from the bottom of the hill at 10 all the way to the top of the corkscrew. So you're talking 101 feet in total.
That is awesome.
Ooh,
yeah, he's smoking a little bit. Little puff of smoke there in the 912. There's our leader gear Ramleth coming across the start-finish line. I'm hearing reports right now from race control as they come through Optima Turn 2, Optima batteries. We've got a car smoking on track. They're trying to figure out.
Well,
I don't know if it's the 966 or not, but there is puffs of smoke coming out. Looks like when he switches gears.
Yeah, literally like 2nd to 3rd, he's just puffing.
Look at that. There's Ray Morgan in that Morgan. And then there's that Elva. Elva's have a nice smile on him as well. Looks like that Elva's having a lot of fun out there.
Now the Elva, that is from the French, where they say "elevée," which means she goes.
That's right.
So they took that and made an Elva. That's why it's called the Elva Courier Mark III.
Now that could have been Ray Morgan was giving him the point by to the left, and the Elva decided to point on the right. So good heads up there by Ray Morgan to know where the car behind him was passing him.
That Morgan 4+4, the first time I ever saw one of those was at Hallett Motor Speedway. Anatoly Rudinoff had one of those, and my dad told me to go over there and just kind of, knock on the car. I said, that doesn't sound right, but I will. I knocked on it. It was a wood frame. And I couldn't believe that it was a wood.
Yeah, I was watching that Morgan being prepared yesterday, and he was working hard. Every time I walked past that car, he was underneath it, working on something. And I was going to ask him what he was working on, but he was just, like, flat out, so I left it to it.
Yeah, that's Tom Morgan. I said Ray, but it's Tom Morgan there in that Morgan. And the wood is ash wood, which is the same as a Louisville Slugger baseball bats.
You know it lasts, right?
Oh, it definitely lasts.
And look at that. There's the Ferrari coming up behind him.
Whoa. Little lock up, but he's fine.
Yeah. And any time that you're racing a car with us with wire wheels like this Ferrari, you have my attention. Ooh, and look at that. He's not wanting that 356 to get by him. It's coming out.
Yeah, that's heavy braking into that turn. That turn even tightens up more once you get through the apex, and you have to be very patient, like wait, even wait a little bit longer before you can get the power down.
That's a Datsun B210 there of Richard Bateman.
Datsun B210, very successful in SCCA club racing as well, and B sedan.
That number 4 is a 63 Genie SR, Bob Roth. There's that Ferrari in the 356. It looks like a good battle. Porsche versus Ferrari. Classic tale.
356 lining him up there. I don't know if he's going to make it there, Ben.
It's going to be nip and tuck, isn't it?
Yes. He was certainly going on the inside. He looked like he had the line.
Edward Hugo.
Didn't quite make it.
Robert Davis now add a little bit. Robert Davis started 8th. Right behind Edward Hugo, so Robert Davis has picked up a position.
Great way to start the day.
Yeah, beautiful weather and beautiful racing with some absolutely immaculately prepared, beautiful cars out there. Jonathan and Ben.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Checkered flag is going to be coming out here soon. I love that Toyota there, too. How cool is that with the white racing stripes going through there?
Yeah, that Toyota Sprinter was the basis for the Chevy Prism and the Geo Prism, as well as the Chevy Nova.
There's Gear Ramleth taking the checkered flag. Another great race from Gear Ramleth. You know, it's rare not to see Gear on the top step of our podiums. Look at that.
And that's another beautiful looking car as well. I had a close look at that yesterday, took some photos of it. It's immaculate.
Yeah, when you're racing a Concours show car.
Yeah.
You know, when the prep every weekend, because, you know, there's going to be rock chips and things like that happen. So we really appreciate all the care and attention these drivers put into that car, because most race cars, even a professional, Lewis Hamilton's Formula One car this weekend is a 10-footer. You get up close to it, you're like, oh, okay, you can see where some of the carbon fiber's off. That car, there's nothing. Like, I think that car could go to Pebble Beach tomorrow and do well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I looked in the interior of that car too, and it's just so well prepared. It's absolutely, it looks as though it literally has come off the showroom floor.
Lots of our SVRA gold medallion cars out here as we're talking about that. Those are the cars like we were just talking about. Really well prepared with a fit and finish. Raced just as they were back in the day. It takes a lot more money and care to race them as they were than it is kind of to make a more modern sports car. But here it is. Let's see who wins here with this Porsche versus Ferrari.
They've been going on for the last few laps.
Enzo versus Ferdinand. Let's see what we got here. Looks like the Ferrari's got him. How cool is that? I love these images we're getting.
What fun they had out there racing together.
Yeah. Gentlemen, ladies, thank you so much for bringing those cars. Robert Davis, I got to say it again. Thank you for bringing out that beautiful 1961 Ferrari TR61. wearing the proper tires, in the wire wheels. Unbelievable. Look at that. That is just sex on wheels.
And it sounds awesome, doesn't it? So my thanks to Ben Sissel and Scott Conway for taking us through our Group 1, Group 3, Group 4 and 5B to get us on our way here. Wherever you're tuning in around the world, stay with us. We've got more group action coming up very shortly. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back from Laguna very soon.